Hi, my name is Brian and I'm going to show you a 3-to-1 haul system today. To start off with, I'm tied into one end of the rope and I'm going up to my master point and I've clove myself in. And I've just taken this strand off to the side a little bit so that it's out of our view. My climber is locked off with a Munter mule combination off of the master point, and I've used a sandbag as my weight. And I've got it suspended off the ground a little bit so that there's a good amount of tension. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a anchor cordelette off of my harness here. I'm going to find the midpoint and I'm going to build a bridge. So I'm going to put a prusik hitch on here. And you could do any friction hitch here that you wanted, but I'm just going to choose to do a prusik hitch. Bites pretty well. You can get that up pretty close. I'm going to tension it and sort of make sure it's locking. I'm going to take a locking carabiner, come up to the shelf up there, and at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put a Munter hitch in. And I'm going to make sure that I milk it and that it's oriented the way I want. And now I'm going to do Munter hitch and the Munter mule combination for the lock off. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to get hollow block off my harness and I'm going to put a friction hitch on here. I'm going to do another prusik. So 1 wrap, 2 wrap, and 3 wraps for a 3-wrap prusik or an improved prusik. And at this point, I'm going to have my rope come on down and come through here. And I'm going to now take this strand up and put another locking carabiner right here. Put that strand in and lock it. And now we're coming down to our tractor. Now at this point here, I don't want to release this and have the climber entirely on a friction hitch. So I'm going to put a locking carabiner up on my shelf of my anchor, where it could be at the master point. I'm just going to put a clove up there. And take some slack out, lock that off. And that way, we're not relying entirely on this cordelette here. So now I'm going to slowly transfer the load utilizing my bridge. And this friction hitch here is going to be what we call a load capture. So I'm releasing my Munter mule. Okay, and slowly having that weight come onto this, and that's got it, so that's awesome. And at this point, I can take this first carabiner out. And you can see it was important to have the other carabiner there. And now we're coming, and then it goes down to the tractor. I can retrieve this carabiner at this point in time, in case if I need it for something else. So now, the load goes from the climber up to the anchor, and then down to the tractor, and then back up. And it makes a Z, sometimes called a Zdrag, and it's a 3-to-1 pulley system. I'm going to push this tractor as far down as I can, and now I'm going to pull here. So pull, pull, and I'm watching my load capture, and I'm going to need to reset that every once in a while. Pull, pull, reset, pull, pull, reset. And if I had actually had it a little bit further away, I might not need to reset as often. Pull, pull, reset, pull, pull, reset. And at a certain point, I might be able to move my tractor further down. I'm going to make sure that my load capture is getting this load pretty good, and I'm going to slowly release. Oops. Yeah. There we go. Okay, slowly release. There we go. And it's got it. And I can go up to this original clove and suck out some of the slack. So that was the benefit of having a clove hitch up here, so that I can do that. All right. So we've got, if I was just to be pulling the climber right from here, that would be a 1-to-1. And then it's going up and through the anchor. And if I was to be pulling here, that would just be a redirect, still a 1-to-1. But then once it comes down to this tractor, because this tractor is moving, that changes things. So now, if I were to add things up, if I'm getting a 3-to-1 mechanical advantage, so here I've got, I'm pulling with a force of 1. On the other side, that's resisting that with a force of 1, and then here, pulling up would be another force of 1. So we add that together, and that's a 3-to-1. And for every 3 feet that I pull up, or every 3 feet that I pull through here, the climber moves up 1 foot. So we don't want to add more mechanical advantage than we need to, because we just end up having to pull a lot more through the system. So 3-to-1 is pretty efficient, gives us some pretty good mechanical advantage, and we're not pulling as much rope through the system as we would with maybe a 5-to-1 or 6-to-1, which we'll cover fairly soon here.